Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the new updates that they are previewing for the chapter approved book coming out very soon. And I wanted to give my thoughts on this because everybody sends their thoughts and prayers to the God Emperor of Mankind that one day certain units will be usable, such as the Land Raider. Excuse me. Okay, so the 5 biggest point drops from chapter approved 2021. Can you believe we're in chapter I can talk. Can you believe we're in 2021 already? Like, last year felt like it was 8 years long. I'm not even joking. It felt like an eternity. I'm starting to get games back in, so there's battle reports coming out on the channel, including a super exciting one that was played between my Slaanesh Demons and a friend of mine's Death Guard. I was trying to remember what they were called and not call them Booger Boys. So, blah, 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 blah. They're talking about this in no particular order. So the Land Raider. Now, the Land Raider is at 265 points, including all of its war gear. Now, this sounds really impressive. So I'm going to go over to definitely the GW app and no other app ever. Just the GW one. That's the one I'm using. Right? That's the one we're using now. Okay, so let me go over to it, and let me take a look at the Land Raider as what it is right now. So, the Land Raider, as it currently sits, without a multi-melton, without storm bolters or hunter-killer missiles, is sitting at about 285. So it went down by 20 points, and they're thinking that this is significant enough to get this hunk of garbage onto the battlefield. Short answer is no. Long answer is that door on it is backwards, and that is bugging the ever-living crap out of me because I'm probably the only person that notices that door is on backwards. And now I can't unsee it, and it is bugging me. Wow. Okay. Among the oldest and most powerful vehicles of both the Adeptus Astartes and the Heretic Astartes alike, the Land Raider is a true Warhammer 40k icon. Yet high point cost and indomitable blah 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 blah. Anyway, they're lowering its points, and this includes every variant to be much more competitive place within its respectable vehicle pool moving forward. Okay, so flat out, a Sakaran, which is better than this tank in every single way, is over 100 points cheaper. At 265, it's 5 points more. Just saying. Actually, that's the Sakaran Arcus. I don't know about the Sakaran, the basic Sakaran. Let me check the basic Sakaran. The basic Sakaran battle tank is 225. I was looking at the wrong things. My apologies. So that was wrong. Apologies. But at 265, I don't think that this thing is going to compete with Eradicators and the new Primaris stuff. It can't transport Primaris Marines. It can't transport heavy intercessors. It transports Terminators, but Terminators have such a good range now that they could either teleport in, which is what you do with them, especially this edition, because if you teleport them in, you can deploy Scramblers if you really want to do nothing with your Terminators, or you can teleport them in and just barrage an enemy from behind, which honestly just seems better. The Land Raider, I have like 5 of these things. I love the Land Raider. I've always loved the Land Raider. It's ridiculous looking. It's silly looking. But overall, it is still at 265 kind of garbage. Maybe at like 245, another 20-point drop, I would heavily consider the Land Raider. Its other variants, if this includes the Forge World one, the Prometheus, I would definitely be excited about it. 265 points for a teleporting Land Raider sounds amazing to me, filled with acolytes. That would be really cool in an Inquisitor or two. Huh? Does that include that one, GW? Probably not. But we'll see. But for the basic Land Raider, 4 las cannons is pretty nice. But something that has that's cheaper by 100 points. Well, it's at 170. It's Predator Annihilator. And again, all I can think about is comparing this thing to Eradicators. And Eradicators are just better in every way. They have a good range. They're going to be in range turn 1. You just take midfield with them. And honestly, I love the Land Raider, but its cost, which I think is ridiculous for it. Let's just go ahead and take a look real quick. I think it's almost $80 for a Land Raider. Yeah, it's $80. So this includes the Land Raider Crusader and Redeemer. The Crusader is basically kind of useless at this point, and the Redeemer is pretty decent. I might be wrong on this, and I'm praying that I am. Like, I want one of you to just be like, no, Alexis, I'm a tournament player with this many wins under my belt, more than I can count, more that exists in Pi. I've won everything forever, and I can tell you, you're wrong about Land Raiders. They're God tier now and amazing. Personally, I'm not seeing it. It's kind of cool that they're cheaper by 20 points, but honestly, I think they needed to be cheaper by like 40 points, and then we can actually consider them as part of my list. The Storm Speeder is next. Honestly, I think it's, again, price point that's keeping this thing away. So at $65 for essentially a land speeder, I honestly, it's got a missile rack, but again, it's competing for other things in your army list. It's competing for things that you're going to need, and honestly, this poor photoshopping is hilarious, by the way. I absolutely love this image for how crappy the Photoshop is on it. Like, this vehicle right here just being photoshopped in is super funny, and same with this thing just photoshopped in over a studio picture. It's grossly out of proportion because this vehicle is bigger than this thing by a lot, and it's got the Outrider over here. This picture, get a better person to do these. Honestly, I think the Storm Speeder falls apart to not land speeders, attack bikes. Attack bikes do what they would do better, and they could be revived by apothecaries, so they're just better. T5, 5 wounds or 4 wounds or something like that. Multi-Melta and Storm Bolter, essentially. Rapid Fire Bolter. Twin Bolter. Thank you, brain. And the ability to be revived by an apothecary just makes it a better vehicle. Not a better vehicle, a better unit. And because it has the chapped keywords and everything, it can still be affected by things. And overall, I view this thing as a little bit weird. It's 130 points now is not bad. I think that's really good. So it's good to see its points drop, but overall, I've never seen a purpose for this thing on the battlefield. That's always been my big thing, is it lacks purpose. So the next thing is the Necron Immortals. I have wondered where these guys went. It just seems that warriors are just better in every way. You can have squads of 20 warriors, and warriors can get revived, and so can Necron Immortals, but their squads max out at 10. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do to change these. They look like they're going to be no longer coming in at a mere 4 points more than Necron Warriors. That's not bad. Honestly, I think that's really, really, really good and really solid. But I can take more warriors from my squads than Necron Immortals. I always felt like Immortals had their day to shine back in 6th edition, 7th edition when they were like God tier. But warrior spam just seems really good right now. So I don't know what they're going to do with these guys. I like them, don't get me wrong, and I love that they're cheaper. Do I think they're going to see competitive play? Probably not. I mean, 4 points more on 10 man is 40 points. That's a lot of warriors you can get into a squad. Just saying. Next thing is Wraiths and Wraithguard and Wraithblades. These things, I have never fought against these. I have always wanted to fight a unit of Wraithblades. I have never seen them on the battlefield. No one ever brings them because the other ranged weapons are just better. But now with Ynnari, maybe we might see some Wraith Blade action in there. I'm excited about it, so I really want to see with a lower point cost. I was kind of hoping the Wraith Lord would get cheaper by like 10, 15, actually more like 20 points. Again, I think significant point drops are needed for certain units, especially being that Eldar can't even compete with modern day armies. Necron immortal. Necrons are doing great. Space Marines are doing fantastic. We're not worried about them. But Eldar and Genestealers and Tyranids are not doing too hot unless you take a certain list. But excluding like 300 Hormigons, Warrior Spam, or Damacarans, Tyranids are kind of in a weird boat right now where they're just kind of garbage. And I'm hoping they go down just a bit more. Like, Carnifexes being cheaper is nice, but I still think they need to be cheaper because they have no survivability. So these guys actually went down by 40 points if you take a full 30-man squad. That's significant. I want to point this out. That is actually really big. I think it needed to go down a little bit more since witches exist, but I'm expecting witches to actually go up in price. Same with a lot of the Dukari stuff to go up in price and maybe get some nerfs. Because having an almost 70% chance to win a game is pretty nuts. And then, what's the next one? Adeptus and Ork codex. Oh yeah, the announcement of these two codexes, which is really nice. Thousand Suns, since I am starting them, and Grey Knights, which I have an entire force of. Believe it or not, I actually have both of these armies. They just chill in my closet. You know, in that same spot that I took up for quite a while. And then, you know, I had to come out of there. So they had room in there. That's a joke about me being bisexual. Anyway, terrible jokes aside, we get a new update for this. So let's go ahead and check this out really quickly. Holy cow, this is a lot of different stuff and changes and everything, but doesn't give them the 2 wounds yet. That's all I care about, is the 2 wounds. Because right now, without the 2 wounds, they're kind of useless. So, I do want to talk about things that I want to get cheaper. Like, because I think this is a good point to talk about this and, you know, actually dive into this. There are certain units in 40k that I do want to be definitely cheaper, and units that I think need to be nerfed. As much as I hate to admit it, Sisters of Battle need a nerf. Their Repentia need to go up in points because they are just way too good right now. And Magnifier should probably go up by like 5 points. In my opinion, Preachers and Priests should go up by 5 points. Just to balance out the Sisters a little bit more. I think that would do it. Celestine needs to come down a little bit because right now she's just used for that 4-up aura. Honestly, I'm starting to take lists without her and nothing is changing. Like, that's where Celestine is right now. I can put her in my force and she's really good. I can dive bomb weak enemies with her and she's really decent. But overall, it's just one of those things where it's like, she's kind of just there for a buff mander and she doesn't actually benefit my army too much. I've been having a lot of luck with like Junith and a Canoness because I still get that 4-up invo. But let's see. For Space Marines, things that I think need to go down. Well, one, Eradicators need to go up in points as I've compared everything to them. I think Aggressors need slight tweaking. Just a little bit, like maybe up like 3 more points per model. Not a full 5, but I think just a few more points and they'd be balanced. Get rid of Character Dreadnoughts. They're just too powerful. We need to admit this. They are simply too powerful. No Dreadnought characters. Just no. Except for Bjorn the Fell-Handed. He's a slightly different. Let's see. Let's dive into the Xenos factions. Hive Tyrants need to go down in value. Where they're currently at isn't bad, but again, without any type of survivability outside of a 5-up invulnerable save and praying that you get off your 1 feel no pain roll, I think they're sitting at a weird spot. Personally, what I would do with Tyranids is up, what are they called? Hive Guard, up by 5 points each. Actually, maybe not 5 points each. Get them up about 10 points in total for their squad. And then down points of Carnifexes because Carnifexes are useless. Down the points of Gaunts because Gaunts are useless. Lower Devil Gaunts by like 3, because not by 3 points. Maybe by 2. I think it should be a 2-point upgrade instead of 4, because 4-point upgrade you could just get another Gaunt, and it just seems better to get the other Gaunt at this point. Trigons need to go down in points. The Malanthrope needs to go up in points, in my opinion. It's really, really, really good. Zoanthropes need to go down in points. They're kind of bad. They have their psychic abilities, but since you need to take 5 of them to be good, they're kind of garbage and no one really takes them. My opinion, strictly my opinion, and from what I've observed. So I don't know what the tournament lists are for NIDS right now, aside from the 300 Hormigaunt list, which I think is hilarious, and the Damakaran list. But strictly my thoughts. Moving on, Genestealer Cult. Their cars need to go down. They're T5. They're garbage. They die to everything. I lost 3 of them. No, I lost 9 of them to 2 Lehman Russes. Like, just popped all of them. And I'm just like, wow, okay, I guess I lose. I think the bikes need to go down in points. They're really good, and their trick is really fun, but overall, they're just there for a gimmick. I think Aberrants need to go down in points. Personally, I know Muscle Beach was really powerful and really popular, but it just seems like such a hindrance to nerf the entire codex because of one list. Let's see, moving on from them, from Tyranids, Eldar need a dramatic point cut across the board, and they need some additional rules. Right now, they're kind of garbage. Ynnari is in the same boat. Ynnari's really good with Drukhari, but everything's good with Drukhari. The Guard need to go down in points. I think Leman Russ needs to go down in points by a few. I would actually say about 10 points dropped off the Leman Russ, and it'd be pretty good. Guardsmen need to go down to like 3 points per, because Guardsmen just can't kill Marines anymore. I think, and this is the most dramatic thing I'm going to say, I think Sentinels need to be 20 points. I'm just going to say it. I really think at 20 points they're fair and balanced. You're going to see them more on the tabletop. They hit on 4s. They're not that good. Their weapons are kind of just all over the place. No one's going to take a plasma cannon, and those people who do are risking damaging the vehicle. And honestly, I think keeping their points for their weapon upgrades the same, but lowering their base cost to 20, and I'm talking Scout and Armored Sentinel at 20 points, I think is perfectly fair. Lower conscripts by 1 point so that they would be cheaper than Guardsmen. Let's see. What other armies do I think need a bit of a nerf? Demons of Slaanesh. Seekers need to go down in points. They're garbage. Fiends are good. Actually, I think the rest of the army is perfectly balanced. As weird as that is to say, I think Demons of Slaanesh are pretty balanced. Demons of Tzeentch, I think, need to go down a little bit. Heralds, and every type of Herald just needs to be an elite choice. Do the thing they did for Death Guard to Demons, where you take all of those crappy secondary HQs and you just make them a character unit for elites. Like, I'm talking the Contorted Epitome, I'm talking Heralds on Discs of Tzeentch, I'm talking the Skull Taker. Well, maybe not the Skull Taker, he's a named character. But still, I think you get what I'm saying. But I want to know your thoughts. Comment in the comment section down below. Tell me everything that you think needs to change. Personally, I think some of the stuff is just not going to go cheap enough. I'm going to be taking Land Raiders to my games, but overall, I think you need to play a fun Space Marine list. Otherwise, you're just going to bully your opponent. Oh, Imperial Knights need to go down in points. They're not competitive. They are a very tough army, but they're not competitive. You can very easily beat an Imperial Knight player just by sitting on objectives. Like, let's be real. Okay. So with that said, tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, if you're super awesome, I'm going to click the wrong thing. If you're super awesome, you will check out my Patreon. Patreon goes a long way to helping out the channel. Every single dollar helps. And seriously, like, cost of living is going up. My apartment is going up to $1,000 for this. And it's sad. Cost of living is way too high, and I don't have the credit score to buy a house, which is cheaper. Fun. Anyway, guys, tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.